Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Now, let me tell you, I have been watching the comings and goings at General Hospital for a good long while, and my intuition has always served me well. Lately, I have been keeping a very close eye on the situation between Jack Brennan and Tristan Roberts. On paper, they want us all to believe this is just a standard run-of-the-mill professional relationship wrapped up in the secretive world of the WSB. But honey, let me be the first to say that where there is smoke, there is a blazing fire. The way these two men interact, the heavy tension that hangs in the air whenever they are in the same room, it is clear as a bell that there is a deeply personal connection here. It goes so far beyond the sterile, cold boundaries of government intelligence. You can practically cut the hostility with a butter knife, especially when you look at how Tristan behaves. It all started to unravel when we found out about Tristan's background. The hospital administration knew that Tristan had previously worked for a medical facility affiliated with the WSB, or, at the very least, that is the story he spun for our dear Britt Westbourne when she finally cornered him. Bless her heart, Britt has been through the ringer, and she is not one to just sit back and let someone pull the wool over her eyes. She had been carrying around this heavy suspicion, feeling like a cat on a hot tin roof, and it all boiled over in a spectacular way. During her fierce confrontation with Tristan, she was pushing so hard for the truth that she accidentally let slip some vital information, unintentionally exposing Jason Morgan in the process. It just goes to show how rattled she truly was by Tristan's presence. You see, the roots of this anxiety go back to Jason. Jason Morgan, who has survival instincts sharper than attack, had previously pulled Britt aside to give her a stern warning. He confided in her that Tristan was actually the very man who served as his escort during that harrowing journey all the way from Jakarta back to Port Charles. Now, anyone with a lick of sense would be on high alert after hearing that, and Britt was certainly no exception. Jason, being the protective soul that he is, advised her to just keep her mouth shut and lay low until he could figure out exactly what game Tristan was playing. But waiting patiently has never been Britt's strong suit. Both of them were convinced deep down in their bones that Tristan had been planted at the hospital for the sole purpose of spying on her. The suspense finally became too much for Britt to bear. She managed to get Tristan alone in one of those quiet, private offices at General Hospital, closing the door on the bustling corridors to demand some real answers. It was only then, with his back against the wall, that Tristan casually dropped the bomb about his past employment at a WSB hospital. He brushed it off as if it were old news, claiming that the Human Resources Department was fully aware of his history from the very beginning. The sheer audacity of the man. He looked Britt right in the eye and insisted that he was there strictly in his capacity as a cardiothoracic surgeon, nothing more and nothing less. He completely denied having any orders to monitor her. And then, to add insult to injury, he had the nerve to suggest that Britt might need to go see a psychiatrist to deal with her paranoia. Lord have mercy. I could hardly believe my ears when I learned how dismissive and arrogant he was being toward her. But the real meat of the story, the part that truly has my mind racing and my heart aching for the truth, happened when Jack Brennan himself decided to pay a little visit to General Hospital. Jack claimed he was just dropping by to see how Tristan was settling into his new role and to find out if the young doctor had anything important to report. Well, let me tell you, Tristan's reaction was immediate and incredibly telling. The moment Jack walked into his orbit, Tristan's entire demeanor shifted. He did not look like a respectful agent greeting the director of the WSB. No, he looked like a cornered animal, brimming with annoyance and a deep, simmering anger that you just cannot fake. Tristan spoke to Jack with such a curt, disrespectful tone that it would make your head spin. He bluntly informed Jack that if he actually had anything worth reporting, he would have done so through the proper channels, but that there was absolutely nothing to say. The dynamic between them was entirely off balance. This was not a routine check-in between a high-ranking intelligence official and a subordinate operative. It felt raw, emotional, and intensely intimate in the most uncomfortable way possible. If you ask me, Tristan was acting exactly like a rebellious, angry teenager who is acting out against an overbearing father who just will not give him any space. Tristan made it abundantly clear in no uncertain terms that he did not want Jack coming around the hospital looking for him anymore. He practically demanded that Jack and the entire WSB keep their distance and stop hovering over his life. Now, you have to ask yourself, what kind of young man speaks to a powerful director with such fearless venom? The kind of young man who holds a deeply personal grudge It got me thinking, and I know many of you at home are probably thinking the exact same thing. Could Jack and Tristan share a hidden past? Could they actually be flesh and blood? We all know that Jack Brennan has lived a life full of danger, intrigue, and international travel. As far as the public record shows, the man has never been married, but an adventurous, handsome man traveling the globe for decades. It is practically a guarantee that he had his fair share of passionate, fleeting romances along the way. My intuition tells me that we need to look back in time, perhaps 30 some years ago, to a chapter in Jack's life that he has kept buried deep under the rug. Picture this. A younger Jack Brennan finds himself on assignment in Australia. While there, he crosses paths with a beautiful, captivating Australian woman. They fall into a whirlwind romance, a secret affair full of passion and forbidden promises. But this woman is not free. She is married to another man, a man whose last name just happens to be Roberts. When the affair ends and Jack moves on to his next dangerous mission, he leaves behind more than just memories. He leaves behind a child. If this theory holds water, it would explain absolutely everything about Tristan's bitter, hostile behavior today. Imagine being a young boy, growing up in Australia, looking up to the man you believe is your father, Mr. Roberts. You love him, you respect him, and you build your entire identity around that family unit. Then, one day, the devastating truth comes crashing down. You discover that your mother had a secret affair, that your entire life is built on a foundation of lies, and that your biological father is a shadowy WSB director who is never there to wipe your tears or celebrate your triumphs. It would absolutely break a person's heart. That kind of betrayal, that kind of earth-shattering revelation changes a man forever. If Tristan only learned the truth about his parentage after he had grown up, it would completely shatter his worldview. He would look at Jack Brennan not as a respected leader, but as the reckless interloper who destroyed his mother's marriage and broke the heart of the man who actually raised him. The resentment would be a heavy burden to carry, poisoning every interaction they have. It perfectly explains why Tristan cannot stand the sight of Jack, why he bristles at the slightest hint of authority from him, and why he wants the WSB as far away from his new life in Port Charles as possible. It is a tragic, beautiful, and deeply emotional mess, and I cannot help but feel a profound sense of sympathy for both of them. Jack perhaps trying in his own clumsy, authoritative way to keep an eye on the son he never got to raise. And Tristan lashing out from a place of deep childhood pain, trying to assert his independence while suffocating under the weight of his family's dark secrets. It is the kind of human drama that reminds us that beneath all the spy games and medical emergencies, these are just broken people trying to find their way in the world. I just know that this secret is a ticking time bomb waiting to explode right in the middle of General Hospital. The truth always has a funny way of clawing its way up to the surface, no matter how much dirt you throw on top of it. When that day comes, the emotional fallout is going to be felt by everyone in town. I will be right here, keeping a watchful eye on every glance, every argument, and every unspoken word between these two men. And I cannot wait to share every single detail with all of you as this heartbreaking family saga unfolds.